Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
You ready?
It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
See, y'all wanna dance? Cause I'ma make you dance. All I want is for you to use your imagination. That's all. What makes us do the things we do that keeps me loving you? Imagination. And when you're in me, ain't got nobody. Imagination sets you free.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. on that drive home or already at home or wherever you are. I hope you're having a lovely, Tuesday now? All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. We appreciate each and every single day. I'll tell you that. As much as I oftentimes like to get to a Friday, I appreciate every single day on this show, talking with you guys, engaging with all of you. So I appreciate you. I see you, Raw Squad, already coming up into the YouTube building. Yes, that is Tamia, that good old Tamia, Imagination. That album, by the way, was bar none. Okay, Tamia, to this day, bar none. She is so great. We are talking about Tamia today and her husband, Grant Hill. We'll get to that in a little bit with our entertainment contributor, who I'm so excited to have on the line with us. But first, I'm going to get to a couple of things you should know about. Lenny Kravitz, he received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That deserves some love. Yes, congratulations to Lenny. There's a lot of people lined up this year to get their star. So I'm going to try to make my way out, at least to one. I know one is happening for sure. But that's going to be Brandy, if you didn't know. Brandy's getting her star on this. She deserves people to show up. I mean, she's been at this a very, very long time. But Lenny deserved it too. And his daughter, Zoe, she gave him a wonderful speech that's sort of circulating on the internet right now. So shout out to him. Beyonce's album, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we finally find out that the name of her album is called Cowboy Carter. All right, there's some people who are excited about it. Y'all let me know. Let me know what you think. There are already a couple of hits, as you know, that are out on the that are singles right now on the radio. I'm going to ask you guys later when the album does come out what you think about it. Smokey Robinson. I love me some Smokey Robinson. I am such a fan to this day of his music. I was honored to meet him and interview him one time. He gave me such a great compliment, and I'm storing that in my archives forever. So I'm such a fan of his. He is still out here performing, doing his concerts, and Smokey got Megan Thee Stallion knees. I'm telling you, he be down there doing his thing. I'm like, Smokey, Smokey. But anyway, Smokey Robinson, he says that what keeps him moving is the fact that he still does yoga and golf. He's in his 80s, this man, and he still moves like he is just a young thing. Yes, Penny Thompson says she loves Smokey Robinson too. He is doing his thing. Okay, if you see any footage of him circulating on the internet, he says yoga and golf keeps his knees all right and his hips, because he be gyrating and stuff. Come on, Smokey. Anyway, an update for Lamar Whitehead. If you guys remember him, that's the pastor who was robbed on camera. And many people thought it was a hoax. They thought it was fake, but a lot of things had come out from this gentleman here. He's in New York. If you guys remember this whole story about him. Well, he was involved in a lot of, alleged criminal activity regarding fraud and things like that. Well, he says truth and vindication will come after being convicted of scamming an elderly church member of $90,000, her retirement, which was $90,000. And they say that was to fund his flashy lifestyle. Well, I don't know. The roosters coming home to, no, how does it go, Andy? The chickens are coming home to roost. Okay, there you go. So, well, he says truth and vindication will come. So we'll see what happens with that. My question for the day that I will put over in our YouTube chat, so make sure that you vote on the poll, is no matter how much money you have, even if you're rich, is $2,500 a month too much for a 15-year-old child? Is a $2,500 monthly allowance too much for a 15-year-old if you're rich? I want to know. I'll tell you where that came from. I'll put that in our YouTube chat for you guys to vote on. But right now, Andy, let's get into the Rob Report.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Okay, so Grant Hill, former NBA player Grant Hill, and his wife, singer Tamia, they'll be married 25 years this year, and they're talking about love, and they're talking about their love and how they try to be examples for their kids. And oh my gosh, I loved looking at the video. I identify with the video because I'm in that age range where we kind of grew up watching, people be married, and that's what you did. But I kind of want to talk about this, and is the art, I feel like it's an art, is the love and marriage, is that too far gone? What are we doing these days? I don't know. And what's happening with our children? What type of examples are we setting for our children? Well, we'll talk about that on the other side. But we're also talking about Nick Cannon, who is sitting with, y'all know the man, Dr. Umar. This is actually an interesting conversation, though. We've had the men in dress conversation. We've talked about it all up and through. But Dr. Umar says something that enlightened me, and it certainly enlightened Nick Cannon, and it's the differences between feminine energy and feminine sexual energy, and that is what people are asking about when it comes to the emasculation of Black males. It's an interesting conversation. We'll play the clip for you to get some context, all on the other side. You are listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on The Rob Report.
You're inside The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears, thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk. You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Climate justice,
Climate equity,
climate resilience. By any other name, we demand environmental justice in 2024
and beyond.
We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Rob Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, I am excited to have with me on the line, wishing that it were here in studio, but I'm gonna take the phone call. We're here with Avi Bernard today. Hello to you, Avi. How are you?
Robin, I am fantastic, and sometimes you gotta take what you can get. I'm on the phone. I'm happy to be on the phone with you.
He said you get what you get and you don't get upset. I know. I get. I totally get it. Well, I appreciate you very, very much, Avi, for stepping in tonight and having this conversation. As you have seen already, the couple of videos that I want to get to, we're going to start off by discussing Grant Hill and Tamia, and the two of them being married for 25 years this year in July is just, it's sad to say that is really like a remarkable thing for these couples nowadays. But listen to what Grant Hill had to say about his wife and how they have arguments and him being an example for his daughters. Let's take a listen.
I'm the first man that my daughters will fall in love with, and also the standard, they're going to see how I treat their mother. And so, not that we don't argue, but you try to sort of, if we need to have a discussion, try to do that away from them. Maybe bite.
We try.
And sometimes, look, it just comes, but you have two impressionable young girls who are going to absorb and take in, and we're going to sort of be an example for them and an expectation for them in terms of what a relationship should look like. So that is a heavy responsibility. You don't get it right all the time. You're not perfect. Sometimes you'll say things, you're like, oh man, did I just say that? You are conscious of the fact that is a huge responsibility.
Yeah. Avi, I was having this conversation recently with a friend of mine who was, you'll see where I'm going with this conversation, with this statement. A friend of mine who was telling me that she really encourages her daughter to still call her grandparents, still call, other family members and things like that. And I was just thinking how our society is wired. It seems to me that we are wired to be, to only really care about ourselves, our own needs, and those who are primarily important to us. Like, if it's your loved one, a spouse or something like that. But we even have a tendency to not think about anybody else, sometimes even your own kids. And so Grant Hill talking about the fact that, they are, he's very conscious of the fact that he's being an example for his daughters. Is this a lost thing right now? I don't know what, because obviously, according to reports, actually, I did look this up, that the median age in which men and women are getting married nowadays is 30 to 28. And I know it used to be a lot younger, but that's saying even if they do choose to get married, because a lot of people don't want to get married and don't want to have kids. So is it becoming sort of lost on this generation?
I think it's probably the case that it's getting lost. You have relationships being way different, family dynamics being way different. And let's just step back and listen to what Grant Hill is saying. He's saying be considerate of what you're doing in front of your kids, which is basic good parenting. That's what all parents should do. He talks about having young daughters. I have a young son, and even though my son is still probably too young to understand most of what's happening around him, I'm always aware of what is happening around him, what I'm doing, and I know that he's going to look at me and emulate my behavior. So I do think that consideration in general is down. I mean, how often have you gone to a parking lot and someone parked just a little bit into that next space? Like, man, you couldn't just, like, be considerate and park in your spot? I mean, just little stuff like that happening all the time, and I think it's magnified when it comes to parenting. People are really self-centered. We are a self-centered society. We're a me society. What do I feel like doing? So I love what Grant Hill is saying in that. I'm fully on board with it, and I think we should all be more considerate of not only our kids, but of everybody around us, how our actions affect those around us.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was talking to my husband recently, and I was just thinking about the fact that we're trying to raise young ladies who are going to go out into the world and be, of course, independent, but still hoping to set an example of traditional love, still setting an example of being considerate of other people and all of the things that we're talking about. What happens, though? You're raising a son, and you're doing a great job raising your son, and I'm sure you're teaching him those same types of morals, the same things, and you and your wife setting the same example, what you want him to be when he gets a little bit older. But at this rate, though, Avi, what we're talking about, we're like, it's a lost art form. Are there going to be people to wed, or people who are even worthy? And, like, I hate to say it like that, because I'm sure that, I want to sound like I'm not judging people, but I'm with my own eyes. I see what's going on in society right now. And I'm like, if these same people are raising other kids, how is it going to be compatible? How will we have children who are able to date other people that have the same type of principles? Is that, am I tripping out on this? Or, I mean, do you feel like I'm reaching a little bit?
You're not tripping. You're not reaching. I have those same thoughts. I look at people like, man, they probably got like 10 kids. Like, what? I forget what song it was where that said all the stupid people are breeding. And so it's like, man, we just have to be aware of how we're raising ours. We got to do the best we can. We got to do our part. And I think it's always going to be the case where the good are in fewer number than the bad, but the good still have greater power than the bad to do good. So I think we really got to focus on ours. Like, I know you've done a great job with your daughters. I've met them on several occasions. Just outstanding young ladies. And so you've done your part.
Thank you.
And I'm trying my best to do my part, and I know there are going to be others, and we just have to instill in them the principles that they should live by. And when we do that, then they'll be able to spot good ones and bad ones. They'll stay away from the bad ones. They'll only get with people who are compatible with them. And society is different. People are getting married older. I got married older than that age range you mentioned. I had a son later than a lot of people have kids. We've all probably heard the stats about people buying houses less, millennials buying less homes than generations before, and being not able to buy homes at a higher rate or at as young of an age. So society is different. We just got to continue to do our best to raise good people, and they will find other good people.
I'm really hoping that that's the case. Lavelle in our YouTube chat says, I think the younger generation sees marriage as long as it will last institution, as opposed till death do us part. He says there's less fight for the relationships and more flight. And that is the scariest part of it all. That is factual. Let's go ahead and get to this caller, Forrest from Compton, California. Hey, Forrest.
Hey, what's up, Rob?
Hey.
Lavelle is actually absolutely right. social media has a lot to do with what people think about relationships, period. And then I was thinking about using myself as an example. I'm 58 now, but I got married at 23, 24, or something like that. And it lasted maybe a couple of months, realistically, but we stayed together for 8 years, and so the whole time I was thinking the only example I had of a good relationship was the Cosbys, because I didn't know anybody who was married. I didn't see anybody who's married. My mother wasn't married. And, I just had to wing it and try to do the stuff that I saw literally from the Cosbys. And so it didn't work out. But as I got older and, as a man, I started to see, other things. And, I have a great relationship now with my wife. I got married again at, I believe I was 50, 49, 50.
Okay.
And so, it's a lot different, now that I know what I'm doing. But I try to be an example to younger, people. Like, she has 2 sons, and I talk to them all the time about relationships and what they see me and how I act around their mom and with their mom. And one of them has a girlfriend. She's pregnant. And I talk to him every day. But I'll walk by and I'll give him little, hints about stuff and what to do. Why you walking in front of her, open the car door, all of that stuff that I didn't learn when I was younger. So I think that us, but being married men, that's our job in society, is to the young cats we see, just give them a little hint and talk to them a little bit. What's up, Avi? What's up, man?
Yeah. I appreciate that. But before Avi jumps in, because you can speak to that, Avi. Forrest, I want to ask you, do you feel like if you would have had an example, whether it was someone in your family, a close neighbor, I don't know, something like that, do you feel like that would have had more of an impact on you, that you saw someone who consistently was around you, who had a good relationship? Would that have impacted you differently? Because I'm wondering, those people who are even growing up in a home where they have a mother and father in what seems to be a healthy relationship, is that more impactful than society? Or is society, in the ways of which the trajectory is going for the youth, is that going to be more impactful than having your own mother and father as an example, or someone close to you as an example?
Well, I think it would have. I would have known how to react to certain things in certain ways that people do. Like, I met a man years later, and he said, "Are you married?" And I used to deliver water, right? And he goes, and I told him, I said, "No." He said, "Why not you married? You're a good dude." And I said, I told him I was, and it didn't work out. And then he was explaining to me something about women. I don't know if it's true or not, but, he goes, women they change every 10 years. He said they could be a totally different person. He said, you have to find how to navigate in between those times in order to not get married. He said, I spend a lot of time where my wife is not feeling me outside, tinkering with my cars and my toys in the garage. And then, when things are cool, I'm back in the house and everything is cool. And we've been married for 40 years.
Wow.
And I was like, and that's pretty much what I do now. Taking his advice, but my wife is on one. Okay. I don't say nothing. I don't argue back. I go outside and build something.
Very, very good. Well, thank you for that. That gives me a little bit more insight. I appreciate you calling for us. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and Avi, I think it's a valid, what Forrest is saying is absolutely valid. I know far too many people who did not grow up with an example and didn't necessarily know how to navigate a relationship. But don't you think that question of which one is more impactful, society or your own parents or someone in your family that's an example, which one holds more weight? Isn't that do you think about that for your own child?
100%. It's always going to be more valuable when it's right there in your house or when somebody who is close to your family. So I myself didn't have a father growing up, but I was very fortunate to meet a coach when I was in high school or when I was getting out of high school and getting ready to play college football, and he guided me. He showed me a lot of stuff, and he had been married for decades, and he had daughters of his own, and so just seeing the way he's carried himself and how he went about his business and how he carried himself as a man, as a father, as a husband. That example really rung with me as I was getting out of adolescence and into adulthood. And if I would have had that example my whole life, then it would have been even better. So it's always going to be closer when you can talk to somebody about these things, ask them how their experience was, ask them for advice. And so a couple of things about what Forrest said, though. I mean, really great wisdom there. I think people are getting married older, as I said earlier, but I think that's a good thing. I think people getting married in their late teens and early 20s that have been custom for centuries, I think that's probably a little bit too young. And not to say that there's a wrong way to do it, but I think there is value in waiting and getting more life experience and being more yourself, being more coming more into your own before you get into a union with someone, before you even really know yourself.
Yeah,
that's a factor. And then also what Forrest said, I mean, that is a fact. When your wife is not in a good mood or something, you don't always got to fix everything sometimes. Give her some space.
Go outside,
Go
build
do
something.
Yeah, man.
Forrest, that's a nugget right there.
That is absolute wisdom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely agree with you, Avi, and appreciate that as well. And Forrest, yes, definitely nuggets right there. You know, I do believe that there are times, you know, you just as a couple, you two are not. Once you get married, you are not this blissful walking unit. You are still two different individuals who are navigating your own life and your own thoughts and, you know, beliefs and things. And you still have to make the two work together. So, you know, we all have our times, but the goal is to fight, like Lavelle said, and not have the flight. So I appreciate that nugget as well. And speaking of our children, my daughter, Brooklyn Rose, is in our YouTube chat, a part of the Raw Squad. Hey to you, Brooklyn. Hopefully she sees her parents as a beautiful example and will go that route rather than letting society, you know, reign. We're going to talk more about Nick Cannon. We're going to get to this whole feminine energy type conversation on the other side. But right now, we've got news, traffic, and sports. You guys are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl BB, and you're listening to me on the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of the Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A San Diego County, California deputy beat a man 10 years ago, and he's still waiting for a settlement to be paid. The San Diego Union Tribune watchdog report shows that San Diego County Sheriff's deputy stopped Miles while searching for a group of Latino teenagers. However, Miles, who is black, didn't fit the description, and witnesses and other deputies say he fully cooperated. However, a white deputy still beat him while handcuffed and ordered his canine on Miles. A judge awarded Miles a settlement, which is now up to $11 million, plus interest that increased by thousands each day. The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys claims he's being extorted for $100 million. Dak Prescott is suing a woman who made a sexual assault allegation against him. In a statement, his lawyers say the star has never engaged in any non-consensual sexual conduct with anyone. The accuser claims the rape happened nearly a decade ago. That's the latest. I'm Tyreek Wynn on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Mid-City on the 10 westbound of Robertson Boulevard. That's a crash shake up the center divider with traffic slow from Arlington Avenue. Hawthorne 405 south after Rosecrans Avenue. A crash shaking up the two right lanes has got traffic deadlocked from Santa Monica Boulevard. In Santa Clarita, 14 north before Newhall Avenue. A crash moved to the right shoulder has got traffic backed up from the 5. And then Sun Valley 170 north at the 5. That's a crash also moved to the right shoulder involving 3 vehicles. Traffic is slow as you come from Sherman Way.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former Crenshaw High School baseball legend Darryl Strawberry is celebrating his 62nd birthday today in a hospital. Strawberry is recovering from a heart attack he suffered on Monday. Doctors at St. Joseph Hospital in Lake St. Louis, Missouri, said Strawberry is in good condition. He's expected to remain under observation at the hospital for a couple of days. Strawberry was an 8-time All-Star in the major leagues, 7 with the New York Mets and 1 season with the Yankees. The Mets are retiring Strawberry's number 18 jersey in a ceremony at New York Shea Stadium on June 1st. Free agent running back Austin Eckler is moving on from the Chargers. Eckler signed a 2-year deal worth $11 million with Magic Johnson's Washington Commanders. Over the past 3 seasons, Eckler scored 44 touchdowns, the most by any NFL running back. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader. Follow 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 the leader.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on.
Who's got next?
And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Daddy, when you gonna stop playing?
Bad chick, I could be a fantasy. I could tell you got big energy. It ain't too many of them that can handle me, but I might let you try it off the Hennessy.
You are inside The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, I want to go partying with Andy. I want to go to one of his parties that he DJs. I'm telling you, if we could all make that happen, that would be fantastic. We are on the line with Avi Bernard. We are talking about well, all kinds of things. We're talking about love and marriage, and if that's lost, and Grant Hill and Tamia, and setting an example for our children. But I want to go ahead and, first of all, Avi, I do want to ask you your opinion. I didn't get your input on this. Is $2,500 a month too much for a 15-year-old child, even if you are rich? What's your thoughts?
And hell yeah, that's too much. Are you what? $2,500?
Okay, but even if you, even if you're rich,
I don't care how much money you got. I don't care. I do not care. How you gonna learn to earn your own if you're getting $2,500 a month for doing nothing?
Okay,
that's more people. That's
fair.
more than a lot of people make. That's more than a lot of people make from their job.
100%. Now.
Come on now.
The reason I bring this question to you guys is Larsa Pippen, who was, as you know, once married to Scottie Pippen. They have, I want to say, 4 or 5 children together. You guys might know. And she's saying that she gives her 15-year-old daughter $2,500 a month because it's LA. And she says LA is expensive. And she says, after school, there's food and Ubers. And if she wants to, buy gifts for her friends and things like that, that is how she validates $2,500 a month. I personally think that is way too high. But, most of you guys think that is too high as well. You said, is it too much for a 15-year-old? 81% of you say yes. That's not including Avi's vote. So, okay, thank you for your input, Avi. I do agree with you. Let's go ahead and move on briefly to this conversation. Okay, I was enlightened on this conversation. Let's take a listen to the clip because it's a little lengthy, but I think we'll all get context after listening to it. Let's take a listen.
Did I go wrong? Did I do something wrong by wearing a dress in my younger years?
I want to quote one of our elder grandmaster teachers, Professor James Small.
Yes.
He said, in response to a question about movies, media, and entertainment, he said, all content has intent. When you sit down and watch an hour and 45-minute long movie,
right,
and you know this better than most, being the successful actor you are, everything that you saw on that final cut, from the color to the background objects, to the pictures, to the clothing, to the conversation, to the symbolism, everything had a purpose in communicating the overall message of that movie.
Yes.
So if we will admit that entertainment is a weapon of indoctrination, in an age where we see a war against not only the life of black men, but the survival of black masculinity, how can a black man putting on a dress not be a problem?
I would bring it back to everything that I just said. What is the issue? And again, because by that means you're telling me you have an issue with understanding the feminine within the black man.
But I want us to make sure we draw a distinction between feminine energy and female sexuality. Because when you spoke earlier about being secure in your masculine and being able to entertain your feminine, I can respect that.
Right.
But we're not talking about entertaining the feminine because we all have that balance within us.
Right.
But masculine and feminine energy is not the same as male sexuality and female sexuality. So, for example, certain feminine trait, patience is a feminine trait.
Absolutely.
You see that. Tolerance is a feminine trait. So when Dr. Umar says, absolutely, I can step into my feminine to nurture my queen.
Right.
Nurture my children.
Right.
I'm gonna step into my masculine to provide for my queen and protect my children.
Right.
But when we talk about female sexuality
and the images,
absolutely, for children who consume more television per capita than any other ethnic group in America. So the messages you put in those movies are going to hit our children 50 times harder because they're more dependent on television than anyone else and they're less likely to have a father at home, Nick. So you're talking about a black male role model who took me this far in my life as a masculine example, and now you're going to put this on, which is now going to force me as an innocent child to entertain all of what can come from putting on that dress.
Oh my goodness. This is really one of those kinds of conversations, Avi. I hardly ever agree with Dr. Umar. Well, maybe it's more of his delivery. I think you know that by now. In this particular instance, in this conversation, I actually understand at least what he's saying. I understand it. Where do you stand with, because all this time, Avi, the argument has been society, media, we're all trying to emasculate the black man. And we're saying, how? What does that mean? Where does that come from? Well, the reason why this conversation about men, black men specifically, wearing dresses, it further perpetuates that narrative because of what Dr. Umar is saying. He's saying there's a difference between your feminine energy and the female sexuality, which seems like this is giving credence to. Does that enlighten you, or do you disagree with that?
Well, I think we pay too much attention to Dr. Umar Johnson altogether. Just in general, that's just my overarching thought. Just before we get into the details of this conversation, I always have to give the reminder that Umar Johnson is against interracial marriage. He does not believe people of different races should be able to get married, and thus believes that I, as a multiracial person, probably shouldn't exist. So I always have to just get that out there in the beginning whenever we discuss Umar Johnson. So Umar Johnson, listen, I understand where the need to defend black men against what's the word we just
emasculation.
Used? Emasculation. Yes, I couldn't say it for some reason. Emasculation. I understand the need to defend black men against emasculation because that does come from slavery. We were emasculated. That was the goal, was to emasculate black men. And so I get it, and we should be aware of any attempts to do that. But I just want to break down some of the things he was saying. Like, he said that patience and tolerance are feminine traits. So patience is a feminine trait, tolerance. So what's the opposite of patience when you're just flipping the hell out? So is that male energy? I think there's always been an emphasis when it comes to Umar Johnson about what a man should be, what a man is allowed to be. And I think that I don't trust his views on what masculine and feminine are or what they should be. So I do understand, though, where he's coming from the perspective of not wanting to see black men get emasculated, and we do need to be aware of that. And I also don't think that every time a man wears a dress in a movie, it's an emasculation thing, because I get it. Like, we see black men doing this, and I don't understand why people like Umar Johnson and Cat Williams, they see a black man in a dress, they get so afraid. It's comedians have done this for a long time, and it's not just black comedians. You're talking about Tom Hanks was in a dress in a movie. Jack Lemmon, Robin Williams. All right, these are some of the greatest actors and comedians of all time. And so I'm not saying it's my kind of thing. Like, I need to see a man in a dress or I'm not going to find it funny. I'm just saying it's a comedic bit that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And I don't know if I can fully go with Umar Johnson on this one.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel very similar when it comes to Dr. Umar. And like I mentioned before, I'm hardly ever just in agreement with this man. However, I will say, I actually enjoyed that little piece, listening to the two of them, because it's rare that you hear someone fully admit and talk about the feminine and masculine energies that reside in all of us. Now, because there are traits, and I agree with him when he says that tolerance and nurturing and all of those things are more of a feminine trait. It's a more of a I hope I'm using the right word. It's more of a feminine trait. Okay. I've been given the thumbs up. Okay. By one of the scholars here. that but masculine men have more of masculine energy and more masculine traits, but they do have a balance of femininity in women as well. Like, I am a woman, I am feminine, however I have masculine energy sometimes when it's time to step up, when I gotta protect my kids. If I'm by myself and my kids are with me and I have to step up, that's that masculine energy. So I do think that we all have a combination of that. I think in terms of like this whole men wearing dresses thing is really, I know I'm getting tired of the conversation, so it's a little bit deeper for me. I thought that he made a good point when he talked about feminine energy versus female sexuality and sort of giving credence to that narrative. That's the part that I felt like, okay, I never heard it really talked about in that way before. So I thought maybe he had some validity there, but you're saying you don't really listen to what Dr. Umar says in the first place. So you're kind of not giving him any credence here.
Listen, I'm always gonna listen to someone's point, and I'm not gonna say that just because I don't like someone, I can't agree with anything they say. I just his views on masculine versus feminine, I just don't really rock with in general. And so the whole feminine energy versus feminine sexuality thing, I don't know. I think that women are over-sexualized. And so when you have a woman in a dress, that doesn't mean that she has sexual energy. So when you have a man in a dress, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's female sexual energy. I can't fully get on board with that, because I think his views on women are kind of medieval, and so it's hard for me to really see this in a from his perspective, and also in a modern way. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think on this issue, I think he means well, but I don't. I think his overall views are not evolved enough.
Understood. Marcus Atkins says, build that school, Dr. Umar. Everybody's going to go back to the school. Marcus also says, what about when women wear tuxedos or don't wear dresses? Is that a problem too? I can say specifically, I know when Janelle Monáe she changed her image more recently, but when she came out for many years, she was always in tuxedos, and she looked, people, they said that she was looking like a penguin because she was always in black and white, and she never had color or never leaned into her femininity, and people had a problem with that. And I never saw her as any less than. That's just, it's rude. You can wear whatever you want to wear. I mean, and similarly, I never particularly had a problem with men who wore dresses, especially black men who wore dresses. We always thought it was funny, it was entertaining, but when we zoom out a little bit and take a look at the bird's eye view, I guess what Dr. Umar is saying, I reluctantly say that I can at least understand the point that he's making when it says...
But also, one more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more thing. Also, I mean, that's a great point, Robin, about people really like to police what people can wear. Oh, you got to wear this, you got to wear that, and if you're not wearing this, then you're not a man or you're not a woman. I hate that. But also, let's look at Scottish men. They wear what's called kilts. And they look like dresses. When I was growing up, I was like, why are those guys wearing dresses? But those are kilts. That's part of their culture. They're not considered feminine. A lot of Scottish men are super masculine while they're wearing a kilt. And so it's a cultural thing, too.
It is cultural.
And we're told what we can and cannot wear.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Same with Hawaiian men, or not Hawaiian men, but men in Hawaii who are like Polynesian, and they wear the grass skirts and things like that. It's a cultural thing, but they're very masculine. So I think we are really we're the only ones who do it, primarily the ones who do it, I'll say. I mean, at least it's a conversation, and I feel like this is all I ever want to do. I want to feel enlightened. I want to have conversation around being enlightened, whether we agree with it or not. It's just really all about the discussion. So with that being said, Avi Bernard, thank you so very much for joining me today. You know I appreciate you as always. Let everybody know where they can find you, and tell us about that podcast, where we can find you on that podcast as well.
Well, it's always my pleasure to join you, Robin, and the way you facilitate these conversations is always in a fair and balanced way. I just love being part of them, and the conversation that you're having with with our audience. So you can find me here on KBLA Fridays, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, and also my podcast is called Top 2, and it comes out every Monday. We just dropped a new episode yesterday, and you can find that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or it's even on some platforms I don't even know what they are. So wherever you get your podcast,
you can find it out there. Yeah.
You can find it.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your night with your beautiful family.
Appreciate you, Robin. You too.
All right. Well, when we come forward, we do have a Who's Got Next on the other side. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
We're not just a thermometer recording and broadcasting popular opinion.
We aim to be a thermostat,
transforming the conversation about climate justice in our community. This is KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertari Plessy. Nefertari felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's go ahead. We only have a few minutes left of our show. Let's go ahead and get into this song. This is Bree Steves. It's called Jealousy. Check it out.
I hear that you get them calls on your phone. Say to leave me alone. They be checking on my Twitter, think they know me to go. Everything you post and they think that it's you. They don't know about the shit that we do. But you know I'm fucking crazy. You know you drive me crazy. Here we go all night, baby. What they be saying, I swear, never let them come between. Oh, what we got is you and me, oh, you're not. I don't listen to what say that I'm fucking around, that I can't settle down. Say I'm heartbroken, bitter, they don't know what we found. But every time I go out, swear I be drunk. They don't know about the shit we be on. Well, you know I'm fucking crazy, you know you drive me crazy. Here we go all night, baby. What they be saying, I swear, never let them come between the what we got. Is you with me or you not? But don't listen to what them people say. They don't know about you and me. Put it out your mind, 'cause it's jealousy. They don't know about us, babe. But don't listen to what them people say. They don't know about you and me. Put it out your mind, 'cause it's jealousy. They don't know about us, babe. First off, for the record, no, I don't play with that. So why the hell you think I'm playing with you? Got the world, I'ma change it with you. It's a good reason why I'm staying with you. Yeah, my mama love you, but these hoes don't. 'Cause they always tell you what your bros don't. Let's go leave your ass when you know I won't. No, I won't.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't even got
Come on, Bree Steve. That's called jealousy. It's a little. Y'all are so funny. That's a cool little ditty. Forrest Harrison says very upbeat, low key bop. DJ Black 909. The chorus sells it, DJ Black. I agree. That chorus is we already know. John B. You know I'm a fan, so I definitely like that. What I do not want you to miss, if you are in LA, Black Women Are Divine. This is exciting. This is happening this Sunday, March 17th. At the Norman Houston Park, and this is going to be it's going to be food, music, performances, healing services. Everything is free. Black women come through. This is a reclamation in honor of Breonna Taylor. You can RSVP at tinyurl.com/BWADRSVP 2024. Yes. That is going to be awesome. Well, you already know, you guys, who is up next. It is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. He's going to bring the fire like he always does. And you guys definitely do not want to change the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. Raw Squad for checking in with me. You guys already know I'm your host, Robin Ayers. And remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The NAACP wants black student athletes to reconsider if they're thinking of enrolling in a predominantly white institution in Florida. The organization yesterday sent a letter to the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. NAACP leaders are protesting the state's law requiring schools to dismantle diversity, equity, and